You did everything right. You were respectful, kind, supportive. You said all the right things, kept your promises, and never raised your voice. But she still pulled away. Her eyes lost their spark, her presence became distant. And now you're left wondering, why wasn't it enough? Here's the cold truth: women don't remember the compliments you give them. They remember how your presence makes them feel. And most men don't understand that difference. You see, she's not looking for words. She's looking for gravity. A woman doesn't crave being told she's beautiful. She craves feeling seen without you needing to say a word. She doesn't dream of hearing, "I'd do anything for you." She wants to feel like she's standing in front of a man who knows who he is, completely, with or without her. This is where most men get lost. They chase approval with niceness. They think safety equals attraction. But she doesn't want safety without strength. She wants to feel something unshakable in you, something rooted, firm, and still. That stillness, that's what makes her lean in. Stoicism teaches us, it is not what happens that matters, but how you respond. And women can sense instantly what energy you're responding from. A man who lives for approval? She forgets. A man who moves from presence? She remembers forever. So here's where we begin: stop thinking about what you say to her. Start focusing on what your energy tells her, when you walk in, when you breathe, when you look at her. The first forbidden compliment isn't spoken. It's felt. It's that moment when she realizes, he doesn't need to prove anything. And in that silence, something dangerous awakens in her. She won't say it aloud, but deep down, she's waiting for a man who doesn't ask. Not because she wants to be disrespected, but because she wants to feel the weight of certainty, not hesitation. Most men are trained to be cautious, to check in, to ask, "Is this okay? Are you comfortable? Do you want me to?" They think this is respect. But to her, it feels like fear. Here's the paradox she'll never explain, the kind that fuels entire novels and fantasies. She wants to surrender, but only to a man who knows how to lead. She wants to feel overpowered, not by force, but by clarity. When a man walks into the room without seeking permission to be there. When he reaches for her hand, not to ask, but to guide. When he speaks slowly, not out of doubt, but control. Her body responds before her mind can catch up. This is not about domination. It's about direction. It's not about pushing her boundaries. It's about standing firmly in yours. The bad boy trope exists for a reason. It's not because he's cruel. It's because he radiates certainty. And certainty is magnetic. As a Stoic, your power is not in raising your voice or forcing your way. Your power is in being so deeply aligned with yourself that you become a natural leader, in conversation, in energy, in intention. That's what she wants to follow. That's what makes her feel safe enough to let go. Remember, she's not loyal to the man who compliments her. She's loyal to the man whose presence commands her attention. And when you become that man, she doesn't want you to ask. She wants you to know. She walks with confidence. Independent. Strong. She tells the world she doesn't need saving. And the truth is, she doesn't. But that doesn't mean she doesn't want to be caught. Not by someone who's weaker than her. Not by someone who panics when life gets loud. But by a man who sees through her armor, and calmly says, "I've got you." This isn't about being her therapist. It's not about fixing her problems. It's about offering a space where she can finally exhale. A place where she can stop performing. Stop pretending. Because here's her secret. The more powerful she appears on the outside, the more fragile she feels inside. She handles life. She gets things done. But she's tired. Tired of being the strong one all the time. And when she's with you, she wants to collapse, not in defeat, but into your strength. That's why Stoic energy matters. You're not flustered when she's overwhelmed. You don't panic when she cries. You don't lecture. You don't chase. You hold. You hold the moment. You hold the silence. You hold her, without asking if she needs it. When she spirals, you stay still. When she pushes, you don't fall apart. When she breaks, you become the calm in the chaos. That's when the walls come down. Not because you forced your way in, but because she chose to let you see her. Not the strong version. Not the polished version. The real one. And in that moment, you don't praise her for being strong. You make her feel safe enough to be soft. She's smiling, laughing, flirting. And every guy in the room thinks she's open, easy to read, maybe even predictable. But you know better. Because you're not looking at her lips. You're listening to her silences. You're watching what she doesn't say. And that's where the truth lives. Every woman wears a mask. She's learned to survive, to succeed, to be admired without being misunderstood. She knows how to be charming. She knows how to play the part. But the version of her that she wants you to see, the one she craves to reveal, is the one no one else has ever truly met. She wants to be witnessed, not exposed, not interrogated, but understood. The Stoic man doesn't rush. He doesn't interrupt. He doesn't push her to open up like it's a test. He just sits with her silence. He watches the shift in her breath when she's tired of pretending. He catches the subtle pause in her tone when something real slips out. And he doesn't flinch. He lets her unmask herself. That's the intimacy most men will never experience. Not the one that happens in bed, but the one that happens in her soul. When she says, "I'm fine," he doesn't argue. He simply leans in, holds her face, and says, "You don't have to be." That moment? That breaks her. Not in pain. In relief. Because now she knows. She doesn't have to be perfect. She doesn't have to perform. With you, she can just be. And in that stillness, that rare, sacred space where she feels truly seen, she'll give you the one thing no man has ever earned: her trust. She's in control. All the time. At work, in life, even in love. But deep inside, there's a desire she never speaks aloud. Not to her friends. Not even to herself. It's too raw, too wild, too dangerous. She wants to lose control. Not because she's weak, but because she's tired of holding it all together. And that's where you come in. Not as the guy who takes over her life. Not as someone who dominates through force. But as the man whose stillness grounds her fire. She doesn't want you to overpower her. She wants you to be the one place where she can let go. Fully. Safely. Without fear of falling apart. When her emotions spiral, you don't try to fix them. You slow them down. You hold her gaze. You breathe steady. You lead with calm hands and anchored energy. You say nothing, but she hears everything in your presence. "I've got you. You're safe. Let it out." And she does. Maybe not all at once. Maybe not in tears. But slowly, her chaos becomes movement. Her tension becomes softness. And she begins to trust the fall. Not because she knows where it ends, but because she knows you'll be there when she lands. This fantasy isn't about recklessness. It's not about drama. It's about finally surrendering her storm to someone whose foundation won't crack under the weight. And when she finds that in you, you'll see something in her eyes you've never seen before. Not fear, not lust, not admiration, but freedom. The kind only a deeply masculine, unshakable presence can give her. Because now, she doesn't have to hold it all anymore. You are her center. No words. No messages. No chasing. And yet, she thinks about you constantly. You're not the loudest man in her life. You don't blow up her phone. You don't beg for attention. But your presence? It lingers. In the back of her mind? In the silence between her distractions? In the quiet moments when she's alone and can't explain why she suddenly misses your energy. This is the final, most haunting fantasy. The silent obsession. It's not built on seduction. Not on charm. It's built on your absence speaking louder than their noise. Because while other men flood her with messages, you're silent. Not as a tactic, but as a man who is centered. You've moved on. Not with spite, but with purpose. You're growing. You're glowing. You're focused. And suddenly, she notices. You're not reacting. You're not playing games. You're just gone. And in that absence, she begins to feel your weight more than she ever did when you were near. She remembers the way you breathed. The way you looked at her like you already knew her secrets. The way you didn't flinch when she pushed. And now she's wondering, did he feel it too? Was he the one who got away? Is it too late? The most haunting kind of man isn't the one who stays and performs. It's the one who once touched her soul, and then vanished without asking for applause. You've become her what if. Her could have been. Her silent obsession. And you didn't have to say a word.